All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we go on a Monday. Today's drink of the day, being as it is a Monday, coffee. All right, so this article from Yahoo Sports, talking about Jordan Love being quoted as saying, "The sky is the limit for us," meaning the Packers offense in 2023. Just going to read part of the quote. Love says, "I think once everybody gets rolling, gets comfortable with the offense and being where they need to be every play, the sky is the limit for us." I like Jordan Love's optimism. Everything is all optimistic here in this downtime between OTAs and training camp. Everything sounds good from what the players say to what the coaches say. We have to, though, temper our expectations about the Packer offense. The sky is not going to be the limit. There's a lot of moving parts here this year. Number one, you got a first-year quarterback, and you've got essentially all rookie receivers and tight ends, and they're all going to be trying to figure things out all at the same time. There's going to be a lot of downs for this Packer offense. Hopefully there's a lot of optimistic moments, a lot of flashes of brilliance for the future as well. But right now, if the Packers are going to have success in 2023, it's going to come down to Joe Barry and the Packer defense. We have to temper our expectations for the Packer offense and remember what's all happening here. So this tweet I got sent to me from DKY Sports Wisconsin saying, for the Green Bay Packers, 9 wins, maybe 10. And I'm more optimistic about the Green Bay Packers in the 2023 season than most people are. And I think that they have a really good chance to make the playoffs, better chance than what most people give them credit for. And I think they're going to be better than most people think. But I can't take this Packer team and say 10 wins for them. Playoffs? Yes. I think more than likely as a wild card behind the Lions, who I think are going to win the division. But a 10-win team, I can't do that. Too many question marks. Joe Barry, number one. I think the defense is loaded with talent, but I don't know what I'm going to get out of the defense because of Joe Barry. Offensive line, I think, is going to be solid. You've got 2 really good running backs. But it's all rookie receivers and tight ends and a first-year quarterback that's going to be trying to figure it out. So 10 wins, that's steep. Another tweet to get to here. This one comes from Jack H. Says, "I just feel that our luck is gone with Favre and Rodgers being with the team for 30 years and bringing success. It's our turn to be bad now." You know, I've said this before and I'll say it again. Favre and Rodgers have no bearing on what Jordan Love is going to be. There is a time to be good and there is a time to suck in the NFL. That's true. But that time to be good and that time to suck has nothing to do with Brett Favre. Brett Favre left in 2008. He has absolutely no bearing on this franchise, and the fact that you had him and Rodgers back-to-back does not increase or decrease the fact that Jordan Love could be great or could be bad. Jordan Love, listen, this comes down to Jordan Love, Matt LaFleur, Brian Gutekunst, Joe Barry. That's what's going to determine if it's our turn to be bad now or not having Favre and Rodgers back-to-back for the last 30 years. All right, another comment to get to here. It says, Green Bay thinks they were lucky. They wasted 30 years of 2 of the greatest quarterback talents ever. I wouldn't call what they did lucky. I agree totally with that. I do not think the Packers were lucky. The amount of times that the Packers won the division, the amount of times that the Packers made the playoffs, that wasn't luck. That was skill that went into it from the front office, from coaching staff, from players. And a lot of the Packers' success, if you want to call it success, in terms of making the playoffs, in terms of winning divisions, most of that came from the fact that they had Favre and Rodgers on the team. Now, the lack of Super Bowls, that's something that drives, I would say, about 80% of the Packer fan base nuts, and it was a colossal failure having those 2 quarterbacks for that amount of time and only winning 2. All right, some more of your reaction here. Devin says, Packers still winning the NFC North. And I said I wouldn't go that far with it. I think the Lions are going to win the division. But the Packers are in a rare opportunity here for a team that is rebuilding, reloading, moving on from a franchise quarterback, however you want to classify where the Packers are as a franchise right now. They're in a unique position because they're in a position where they can still win, to be honest with you, because the whole NFC North is not very good. The Vikings are in a similar position as the Packers. They got rid of a whole bunch of guys, cutting salary. They're kind of starting over. The Bears are a couple of years away from being good, and I think they are going to be good in a few years, but they're still a few years off from that. And you know what? The Lions, even though I have them picked to win the North, the Lions can always do a Lion thing and blow it. So it is open for the Packers. I would agree with that, but I just don't see them winning the division this year. Oh, a huge weekend for the Brewers. Look at that, 5-2. They get the win yesterday over the Pirates. That capped off a sweep. Can you believe it? The Brewers got a sweep after what they went through over the last week, getting swept at home by the lowly Oakland A's. I don't care if they're hot right now. The A's suck. So the fact that the Brewers got swept at home, bad. And then they go in that 2-game series against the Twins, they get swept there. Not feeling good at all coming back. The Brewers had a huge series here against Pittsburgh, who led them by a half game in the division when this series started. All of a sudden, thank goodness, the Brewers get a sweep. They played well. Some of the players like Winker and Adames and Urias, all these guys have been struggling, contributed some. We're going to talk about that a little bit more, though, too, because some of these guys at the top of the order, not good. But the Brewers did what they needed to do. They get the sweep. Big 4-run 8th inning last night, yesterday afternoon by them. So happy Father's Day. Brewers get a sweep. Now they're a half game up, not on the Pirates. They're 2.5 games up on them. They're a half game up now on the Reds. Taking more reaction from Twitter here. This one in regards to the Brewers. This comes from Art. Says, yeah, I think you actually questioned why you were watching the Brewers. You need to calm down. Oh, look, the Brewers got a huge weekend sweep over the Pirates, over a good, solid ball club. I don't doubt that. And they did well this weekend. But that does not cancel out the bad week that they had leading up to it. And I was questioning, why am I watching the Brewers? Because you know what? Their offense was nowhere to be found for over a week. The pitching wasn't really that solid, to be honest with you. Some disappointing starts from some guys outside of Julio Teheran. And they got swept at home by the A's, and I don't care what anyone says about the A's. They're not good. So there was plenty to be down on this team about. Well, I'm going to call it bad when I see it bad, and when they have a good weekend sweep like they did over the Pirates this weekend, that's great. I'm going to call it how I see it, and when they're bad, I'm going to be down on them. When they're good, I'm going to be up on them. Here's something else to feel good about if you're a Milwaukee Brewer fan right now. This coming from Twitter, Dominique Catronio says, since May 1st, Christian Yelich is one of only 4 players in baseball with a 3.45 slash line. Good numbers for Yelich there since May 1st. Now, he's been hot, no doubt about it. And I tell you what, I said it on Twitter yesterday, life is much better when Christian Yelich is good. Number one, it's a lot less frustrating because you know you're paying him all that money, and it's nice to see the money not just go straight down the drain, but to see some production on the field. But it also obviously makes the Brewer offense better as well, especially when he's in that leadoff spot. He's knocking guys in who are getting on base from the bottom of the order, and he's also putting himself in position to get on base, and he's hitting with some power. He's hitting into the gaps. He's getting into scoring position when he gets hits. Life is so much better when he's earning that contract, no doubt about it. And if he continues to do this, that is going to go a very long way in the Brewers winning the NL Central as we go throughout the summer. Now, this was one thing for the Brewers that I wanted to look at really quick here. So this is their lineup from yesterday. You see the top of the order, 1, 2, 3, 4 hitters: Yelich, Winker, Adames, Tellez. Not a very good top of the order. Yelich, he's been hot since May 1st. We already talked about that. That's great. He's in a good spot there for right now. You can't tell me that Willy Adames is the best option for the Brewers batting third. I refuse to believe that. Oh, I know he got a walk yesterday. Really contributed. He got a walk that helped the Brewers take the lead. When you're batting third, you need to be the catalyst of the offense. And he's not that. He's batting 200. He's got 10 home runs, 26 RBIs, but he is sinking this Brewer offense. To have somebody with his lack of on-base percentage, with his lack of batting average, batting third, that's sinking the Brewer offense. You mean to tell me that Adames is a better hitter right now than Weimer? Than Owen Miller? Than William Contreras? Any of those guys should be batting third over Adames. That is something that needs to change here in this lineup. So the question here, in this tournament, which quarterback will win a Super Bowl first? Let's see who the winner is.
It's the time of the season when love runs high. In this time, give it to me easy, and let me try with pleasured hands to take you in the sound to promised lands, to show you everyone. It's the time of the season for loving. What's your name? Who's your daddy? Be rich. Is he rich like me? Has he take us?
So we did our little quarterback tournament as to who's going to win a Super Bowl first a little bit earlier, and got this question, a couple of questions on that video as to why would I choose Mac Jones over Lamar Jackson. Jameson says, interesting, why Mac over Lamar? I'm sure there's a good reason. There is a good reason for it, and it's not because I think Mac Jones is a better quarterback than Lamar Jackson, though Lamar Jackson should probably stay healthy throughout an entire year so that he can help his team contribute and win. But I didn't choose this because I think that Mac Jones is better than Jackson. Lamar Jackson is clearly a better quarterback than Mac Jones. The reason why I picked Jones over Jackson is is because the question was who's winning a Super Bowl first, not who's a better quarterback. And in my mind, if Mac Jones stays on a roster long enough with Bill Belichick, he's going to win a Super Bowl before Lamar Jackson. And it's not because he's a better quarterback, but it's because he's got Bill Belichick, and that's the reason why I would pick Mac over Lamar Jackson to win a Super Bowl first. But he's not the better quarterback.
Just a reminder, as always, you can follow along on Twitter at Wisconsin_fam, at Wisconsin_FAM. We'll see you tomorrow on a Tuesday.